The Mali Empire was one of the greatest and most powerful civilizations in African history. It existed in West Africa from around the 13th century to the 16th century. At its height, the empire controlled a vast area that included parts of modern-day Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Gambia, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania. Mali became famous for its great wealth, strong rulers, important cities, and deep learning traditions. Even today, the Mali Empire is remembered as a symbol of African greatness, knowledge, and culture. Before the rise of the Mali Empire, West Africa was already home to many kingdoms and trading communities. One of the most important earlier empires was the Ghana Empire, which controlled trade routes between North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. When the Ghana Empire weakened in the 11th and 12th centuries due to internal problems and outside attacks, new powers began to rise. Among them was the kingdom of the Mandinka people, who would later build the Mali Empire. The Mandinka, also known as the Man people, lived in the region between the Niger and Senegal rivers. They were farmers, hunters, traders, and skilled metalworkers. Their society was well organized, with strong family ties, traditions, and oral history. Storytelling played an important role in Mandinka culture, especially through griots, who were historians, poets, and musicians. Griots memorized and passed down the history of kings and heroes through songs and stories. The Mandinka people were divided into small kingdoms and clans. One important early kingdom was Kangaba, ruled by the Keita family. Though small at first, Kangaba would later become the heart of the Mali Empire. Life in this region was shaped by agriculture, especially farming crops like millet and sorghum, and by trade with nearby regions. The true founder of the Mali Empire was Sundiata Keita, also known as Sundiata or Marijata. His story is both historical and legendary, and it has been preserved through oral tradition by griots for centuries. According to these stories, Sundiata was born with physical disabilities and could not walk as a child. Many people doubted that he would ever become a great leader. As he grew older, Sundiata gained strength, wisdom, and courage. At the same time, the Mandinka people faced a serious threat from Sumoro Kante, the powerful king of the Soso kingdom. Sumoro was known as a cruel and feared ruler who controlled many Mandinka lands and oppressed the people. Sundiata gathered support from different Mandinka clans and neighboring allies. In 1235, he led an army against Sumoro Kante in the famous Battle of Karena. Sundiata's forces defeated Sumoro, ending Soso rule and freeing the Mandinka people. This victory marked the birth of the Mali Empire. After his victory, Sundiata Keita became the first Mansa, meaning emperor, of Mali. He united many Mandinka clans under one strong government. One of his most important actions was creating a system of laws known as the Kurukan Fauga Charter. This charter helped organize society, protect human rights, and establish rules for leadership, land ownership, and social behavior. Some historians consider it one of the earliest forms of a constitution in the world. Sundiata made Niani the capital of the empire. From there, he ruled with fairness and strength. He encouraged farming, trade, and unity among different ethnic groups. He also respected traditional beliefs while allowing Islam to grow peacefully within the empire. By the time of his death around 1255, Mali had become a stable and growing empire. The Mali Empire had a strong and organized system of government. The emperor, or Mansa, was the supreme ruler. He controlled the army, trade, justice, and foreign relations. However, he did not rule alone. He was supported by advisors, governors, military leaders, and clan elders. The empire was divided into provinces, each ruled by a governor called a farba. These governors were often loyal relatives or trusted officials of the Mansa. They collected taxes, maintained law and order, and ensured that trade routes were protected. Local chiefs were allowed to rule their communities as long as they remained loyal to the emperor. Justice was an important part of Mali's government. Laws were based on tradition, community values, and later Islamic principles. Disputes were settled by elders or judges, and serious crimes were punished firmly. This system helped maintain peace across a large territory. Islam played a growing role in the Mali Empire, especially among the ruling class and merchants. Islam had reached West Africa through trans-Saharan trade centuries earlier. Muslim traders from North Africa brought not only goods but also religion, writing, and new ideas. Sundiata Keita respected Islam but did not force it on his people. Many Mali citizens continued to follow traditional African religions. which involved ancestor worship and spiritual beliefs. This religious tolerance helped keep the empire united. Over time, later rulers became more strongly Muslim. Islam influenced laws, education, and diplomacy. Arabic became the language of scholarship and record-keeping, and mosques were built in major cities. The wealth of the Mali Empire came mainly from trade. Mali controlled some of the most important trade routes in Africa. These routes connected West Africa to North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. The empire traded valuable resources such as gold, salt, ivory, kola nuts, leather, and slaves. Gold was Mali's most important resource. The region contained rich gold fields, especially in Bambouk and Bure. Mali did not allow gold nuggets to be traded freely. Only gold dust was used in markets. This helped the empire control prices and maintain wealth. Salt was another valuable item. It was mined in the Sahara Desert, especially in places like Tagaza, and was essential for food preservation and health. Salt was often traded for gold, sometimes weight for weight. Trade cities such as Timbuktu, Gao, and Jen became rich and powerful. Markets were busy with merchants from many lands. Taxes on trade brought great income to the empire. One of the most famous cities of the Mali Empire was Timbuktu. Originally a small trading post, Timbuktu grew into a major center of trade, culture, and learning. Located near the Niger River, it was an important stop for caravans crossing the Sahara. Timbuktu became especially famous for its Islamic schools and libraries. The University of Sankar was one of the greatest centers of learning in the medieval world. Scholars studied subjects such as religion, law, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, history, and geography. Thousands of manuscripts were written and copied in Timbuktu. These books were highly valued and traded across the Islamic world. Education was respected, and scholars were honored by kings and citizens alike. The most famous ruler of the Mali Empire was Mansa Musa, who ruled from 1312 to 1337. Under his leadership, Mali reached its greatest size, wealth, and international fame. Mansa Musa is often considered the richest person in history. Mansa Musa is best known for his pilgrimage, Hajj to Mecca. In 1324, he traveled with a massive caravan that included thousands of soldiers, servants, and camels carrying gold. Along the way, he gave away so much gold in places like Egypt that it caused inflation, lowering the value of gold for years. This journey made Mali famous across the world. Maps from Europe and the Middle East began to show Mali and Mansa Musa holding a gold nugget. Scholars, traders, and architects were invited to Mali. Mansa Musa built mosques, schools, and libraries, including the famous Jingerber Mosque in Timbuktu. During Mansa Musa's reign, the empire expanded its borders and strengthened control over trade routes. The army was well-trained and loyal. Roads and cities were protected, making travel safer for merchants and scholars. Mansa Musa supported education and religion. He brought scholars from Cairo and Andalusia, Spain, to teach in Mali. Architecture flourished, using mud brick and wooden designs that are still seen today in West Africa. Despite his strong support for Islam, Mansa Musa continued the tradition of religious tolerance. Traditional beliefs remained important in rural areas, while cities became centers of Islamic culture. After the death of Mansa Musa, the Mali Empire remained powerful but slowly began to weaken. Some later rulers were less effective, and internal conflicts increased. Struggles over succession often led to civil wars. At the same time, new powers began to rise. The Songhai Empire, based in Gao, grew stronger and challenged Mali's control over trade routes. Some provinces broke away, reducing Mali's territory and income. By the 15th century, Mali had lost control of key cities like Timbuktu and Gao. Although the empire continued to exist in a smaller form, it was no longer the dominant power in West Africa. The final decline of the Mali Empire was caused by several factors. These included weak leadership, internal divisions, economic problems, and pressure from enemies. The Songhai Empire eventually replaced Mali as the leading power in the region. By the 16th century, Mali had become a small kingdom centered around its original homeland. Though its political power ended, its cultural and historical influence remained strong. The Mali Empire left a lasting legacy in Africa and the world. It showed that Africa had advanced civilizations with strong governments, rich economies, and great centers of learning. Mali's system of law, trade, and education influenced later West African societies. The manuscripts of Timbuktu remain one of the greatest treasures of African history. They prove that Africans were deeply involved in science, philosophy, and global knowledge long before European colonization. The story of Mali also reminds us of the importance of leadership, unity, tolerance, and education. Figures like Sundiata Keita and Mansa Musa continue to inspire people today. The Mali Empire was one of the greatest civilizations in human history. From its founding by Sundiata Keita to its golden age under Mansa Musa, Mali stood as a powerful, wealthy, and enlightened empire. It connected Africa to the wider world through trade, religion, and knowledge. Though the empire eventually declined, its achievements remain unforgettable. The Mali Empire proves that Africa has always been a land of greatness, wisdom, and culture.